A massive wildfire threatens the First Coast.
I'm a bit panicked right now, to be honest with you.
Hundreds evacuated, at least 10 homes damaged.
They said the fire was in their pasture next door, and the smoke was very thick. They could barely see to get out, but they did get out.
Tonight, we go inside the churches and ranches opening their doors. And we've learned the careless act that sparked it all. First Coast News at 11 starts now.
And tonight, evacuation orders are still in place in Nassau County, and dozens of local families are spending the night in shelters. Officials tell us this nearly 400-acre fire damaged at least 10 to 15 homes.
Now, this is all happening near County Road 121 and County Road 119. That's in the Briceville area of Nassau County. And we know that tonight the fire is now 50% contained. And we're learning more about how this fire all started. We have team coverage tonight across Nassau County. We begin with First Coast News' Julia Janae live at the Briceville Fire Station, where authorities are now giving us an update. Julia?
Legal burn, paper, it got away from him. We contained it about 5 acres, and then it did quickly get away from them once the wind picked up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it just ran to about 400 acres.
What's the biggest difference that we're seeing from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock now? If anything, I'm seeing more agencies come out here. I'm seeing more FHP officers, Jacksonville Sheriff officers as well. A lot of agencies, I imagine.
Well, right now we're going through a shift change. We're bringing crews in that have been out there working all afternoon, getting them some rehabilitation and some refreshment, and then doing an actual shift change so that they can get back to their stations, and we can bring some fresh crews in for the overnight hours.
Now, there may be people who still don't know the condition of their home. Can you say when they'll be able, is there any estimate at this time when they'll be able to return and check on things?
Currently, right now, our plan is to continue the evacuation effort as needed overnight. And then tomorrow morning, we will reassess the situation and declare whether people can return to their homes or not. But again, we're just trying to make sure that we've got this thing well mopped up, well contained before we start allowing people back to their homes.
And for some of our viewers who have just joined us, you did say that you are confident that it's contained at this time.
About 50%.
About
50% contained.
There's still a lot of hot ash and ember and a lot of danger out there still, and it's not a safe place to be. So if people are there, they do need to leave and go to one of the shelters. It's just very dangerous out there still.
Are there any injuries that have been reported of any kind at this time?
None
that's been reported to us at this time, no.
Again, just to kind of rehash one of our last times, I know this may be the last time that we speak to you all for the night. Could you just kind of go ahead and tell me? So this was started by someone who was illegally burning, and then it was a fire that was around 5 acres, and then it got to 400 acres?
Right, it got away about 2 o'clock this afternoon is when Forestry received the call from Nassau County Fire, and we brought the bulldozers to the scene and got lines all the way around it pretty quickly, and then the winds did pick up with the gusty winds at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and pushed it outside of those containment lines around 3 or so, a little bit later, and it just really took off running very quickly. A lot of thick timber out there. It is dry. The pine trees are greening up, so they're very volatile this time of year in the spring, and it's just a dangerous situation.
What made this an illegal burn?
That they're burning household paper. You cannot burn household garbage or books or anything like that. You can only burn clean, dry wood, leaves, and yard debris if you meet that 150-foot setback from your neighbor's home.
And what consequences do they face at this point?
Well, it was an accident, right? So they are, at this point, they've been issued a notice of violation saying they are in violation of the Florida statutes, that they did an illegal burn. They'll also be issued a suppression bill. So whatever the forestry bill for all the equipment and personnel that's here, that will be issued to them as well. It could be several $1,000s. And then they're civilly liable for any damage that this fire has caused as well. So that's going to be a whole other issue with the landowners and the homeowners whose homes were damaged.
And one of my last questions for FHP, a lot of roads still blocked off. What is your manpower doing now?
It is. We're also going through the shift change that the EOC mentioned earlier. Florida Highway Patrol, as well as our other law enforcement partners, will remain on site throughout the evening and into the morning hours. You know, as of right now, not only public safety but also first responder safety is very, very important to us. So for the people that are evacuating still at this time, going to the shelters, they need to be very cautious while driving through the area on these highways. That way everybody is safe, including our first responders, firefighter crews, and all that. So we want to make sure we we urge that side of caution there, and encourage people, as mentioned before, go ahead and evacuate. There is a reason this is still a very dangerous area. Go to one of the 3 shelters that is provided. In addition to that, the fairgrounds have been opened up for displaced livestock, so if you need a place for your livestock, that's a safe place to put it. But first and foremost, life is obviously more important than property. So.
Thank you all so much. And that is that one number as well that you all mentioned.
So again, if citizens are displaced or have any questions or need assistance in the overnight hours, please call 904-548-0900. We have folks there that are more than willing to address their questions.
Thank you all so much. So again, just a quick wrap up for you all.
All right, guys, so there an understanding that there are going to be so many more efforts that are going on, and we don't yet know exactly when people are going to be able to get back into those areas that have been blocked off, but we will, of course, keep you updated with that both on air and online. For now, reporting live from Nassau County, Julia Janae, First Coast News.
Julia, thank you. So just to recap, that fire tonight in Nassau County is 50% contained. About 10 to 15 homes have been damaged or destroyed. And take a look at this plume of smoke right here. I spoke this evening with Susan Smith, who shared this picture with me. She was given just 30 minutes to evacuate her Briceville home. She had to leave behind her farm full of animals because she had no way to transport all of them, all of her livestock, her pigs, her horses, her cattle. She and her kids packed up their car, they gathered their important documents, and they took only the bare essentials.
Just praying to God that the wind shifts and the rain starts and that it doesn't get any closer. I told the kids to grab a change of clothes, grab their toothbrush, and grab their Bible. So that was what was the most important, and we could live without everything else.
And I just checked back with Susan. As of yet, she has not heard if her home is still standing.
Wow, I can't imagine what she's going through right now. And you know, right now, dozens of evacuated families are at the Brandy Branch Church in Nassau County, where they've been for several hours now, just waiting to see what's going to happen. First Coast News reporter Stephen Dial continues our team coverage tonight.
Our crew was near the fire lines here on Brandy Branch Road. Actually, as you can see behind me, FHP has it currently blocked off. That fire actually at one point jumped the street, and that's why we were pushed back further and further.
Make contact with whoever's on 119 and Dewey's Lane, your news crew, and get them gone. Okay. Now.
There is another church that is serving as an evacuation site. It's Brandy Branch Baptist Church. We spoke with the pastor earlier. He says when they usually have a Wednesday night Bible study today and feed people, he says when he was driving to the church, he saw flames. Of course, a lot of people saw all of the smoke. We caught up with that pastor about him opening the doors to his church in the midst of all of this devastation.
I was coming down 119 on the way to our meal that we have at 5:45, and the flames were already behind the houses, and I'm surprised they let us through, but they did. But some of our church members had to evacuate, so when they came, we decided to call the news and let them know that we would open up the church, because we also have a Wednesday night meal, so we offered the meal to the people who wanted to come and had refreshments and stuff for them.
We know that at least 10 homes are damaged or destroyed, and this is from an illegal burn. But we caught up with others who evacuated to the church who say that they are just seeking refuge and hoping that in the morning their homes will be safe. Have you ever seen this much smoke?
No, not at all. I've lived out here about 3 years, but no, this is new. And my phone is blowing up from everybody telling me about it, so.
Now, even though Brandy Branch Road is closed, FHP is letting those church members and everyone who evacuated to that church stay at the church for the night because the fire has moved on from that area. But it was at one time about a mile away from the fire line. Reporting from Nassau County, Stephen Dial, First Coast News.
Many families there in Nassau County tonight not knowing what they'll return home to. Briceville First Baptist Church also opened its doors this evening for all those families who have had to evacuate. And First Coast News reporter Hani Rodriguez joins us live from there with the latest. Hani?
Hey, Heather, that's right. We're actually inside the gym here at First Baptist Church in Briceville, and I'll show you. They've already kind of got this area here set up. They've even got cots here. The Red Cross has sort of made this location their hub in order to help people. As you mentioned, the other church that was closer to that fire, they're evacuating people as well. So these guys are sort of getting ready for anybody that might be coming in, moving from different shelters away from the fire. And I want to show you over here, they also have got a kitchen set up with some water, non-perishable food items, some other food just in case, because they never know how many days or nights, they might be able to need to help people. And I'll show you, this is the food right here that they got set up for now. And Pastor Terry, we spoke with earlier, and he's sort of you've been organizing and prepping all this stuff.
Yeah.
What have you guys been doing?
Well, we've got everything set up. One of the churches over by the fire had to close. They were sending some of their people here. We have some of those people here already. Some of the people we've understand went to motel rooms, but we're just going to hang here for the rest of the night, and then we'll be available for anybody that needs to take a break, the firefighters or whoever. And of course we have the cots and so forth that we're prepared for them. So if they show, we'll be ready for them.
Now, you told me JSO came by and they did a sort of an assessment. How many people can you hold?
They said that we probably could take 60 comfortable, and we probably could put about 40 people in our auditorium if we needed to sleep people there. And but what I'm understanding, people are going elsewhere, but we're here if they need us.
Now, you also mentioned to me that, you know, if somebody wanted to donate any kind of food or water, that it's obviously always welcomed.
Yes, it'll always be welcome. We are good for the night, but tomorrow may be another story. You know, if these people start trying to come back and they're not allowing them to get to their homes yet, then we'll be available for that. This will be open tomorrow and tomorrow night if need be. So
thank you so much for your time.
Yes, thank you.
Guys, so another thing that Pastor Terry mentioned to me is, of course, prayers. If you're able to pray for those firefighters and pray for those people who may have lost their homes. For now, reporting live in Briceville, I'm Honey Rodriguez, First Coast News.
Prayers definitely needed. Thank you, Honey. And it wasn't just people who had to escape the flames. Also, a lot of people had livestock that they had to get to shelter. First Coast News reporter Clark Foraker has one family's story.
All night, people have been pushing to get beyond these police barricade lines. They know they're here for their safety, but really don't care because their homes, their animals, their loved ones, and so many memories are on the other side. Well, firefighters and police wanted everyone out.
Because we got people up there shut down at Stokes.
Everyone out.
Are you going south of Stokes?
Yes, sir.
All right, you good.
Just wanted to be in.
We see a bunch of smoke, and Dad's like, wow, that's getting pretty bad.
Curtis Lauf left his home to ask a firefighter if he was in danger.
I took that picture.
He took photos of what he left behind.
Within a matter of seconds, the smoke come across, and you could see nothing. It was just smoke everywhere.
Everything is what everyone was trying to get to.
It was in like a matter of a blink of eye.
Because they would not let us go through with our horse trailers.
But with flames burning, these horse owners had to walk in.
They can't fight for themselves, who will?
To get their horses out.
Stokes, south of Stokes?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
They're saving lives.
As the police barricade lifted.
Is there a phone number I can contact when we can able to get in?
Michael Newman's fear of what the fire left behind set in.
They said it was in between their house and my neighbor's house, and they said my area was on fire as well.
He's lived here 25 years.
3 dogs in my house.
Now those memories could be memories themselves. Families who live on the other side of the barricade lines will be able to go home at some point. The problem now, darkness has set in. They say they're eager for first light in the morning to find out just how bad the damage is. In Nassau County, I'm Clark Foraker, First Coast News.
And Diamond D Ranch here in Jacksonville is also taking in horses and livestock that are having to be moved because of this fire. That's located over on Solomon Road. The Duval County Extension Office has trailers, trucks, and people ready to help move livestock. We do have contact information on our website, firstcoastnews.com. Just look for this story there on our homepage.
Now, earlier tonight, this fire was so large that we could see it on the radar. And I want to check in now with meteorologist Tim Deegan. And Tim, the conditions are improving, and you can no longer see the smoke on radar, right?
Yes, so at least there's that. We do not see on the radar. There's not enough particulates going up in the air, not enough fuel burning to show up onto the radar. Now, we'd love to say a lot of rain is on the way. We do see rain developing. Notice for now, though, it's offshore and it's headed in the other direction. But on the short term, at least the moisture has increased. We saw relative humidity levels at about 15% this afternoon, especially in western Nassau County before the front came through. Watch this green line move rapidly. There it is. one more time, picked up with the radar, pretty tough to see right there. That was the front that came on through at about 5 o'clock. The good news for Briceville proper, so here's Briceville proper along Highway 301. The good news is that pushed the flames off to the west and to the southwest. Of course, bad news for the folks there right at 119 and 121. And all you see here is more good news. That's an indication of some moisture at the surface, not smoke. So no doubt about it, we've been dry, but at least the moisture's on the increase. What about some needed rain? We'll take a look in just a bit.
We're a bit panicked right now, to be honest with you.
Wildfires out of control.
That fire will continue to work to the west.
First Coast News kept you informed of the danger.
Multiple structures are in danger.
When news matters, First Coast News is on your side.
We want to update you now on that breaking news we've been following all evening long. That big wildfire in Nassau County that firefighters have been battling for hours now.
And right now, fire officials tell us that they will be working throughout the night to get that fire under control. We just heard that it's about 50% contained, and we know it's at least 350 to 400 acres. That's how many acres have burned so far. At least 10 to 15 homes were damaged. First Coast News reporter Julia Janae is live at the command center. Julia, I know you just got an update that we heard at the top of the newscast of kind of what they're dealing with right now.
That's right, guys. One thing that they have said is that they believe the fire is no longer spreading. The conditions have helped them be able to contain that 50%, as you said. But those people who have been evacuated, they say they still don't believe that it is safe for them to return. They want to make sure that they work on containing this fire a lot longer before they allow people to go back into that area. Now, one thing that we have learned is the cause of this blaze. It was started in someone's yard, a burning of paperback books, something that in the state of Florida is illegal because household items are something that are not allowed to be burned in an open burn as this was, and they say that person has been cited. The person could be found responsible in civil court, and they would be on the hook for all of these damages, and all of the officials that are out here and working on getting this fire contained. The good news is they have not heard of any reported injuries in this fire, and they're just working into those late hours tonight and tomorrow to continue to get this to a situation where it will be safe for those people to return to their homes. So we'll continue to give you updates as we receive them, both on air and online. For now, reporting live in Nassau County, Julia Janae, First Coast News.
All right, thank you, Julia. And that's the good news tonight, that this fire is no longer spreading.
That is fantastic to hear. Another bit of good news, and we thought this would be the case, but I think this is further verification. Sometimes at night, although the winds diminish, we get what's called a land breeze. That is, instead of the sea breeze, the winds diminish, and then the winds shift by 180 degrees. That's not going to happen tonight. Good. The winds will continue out of one direction. I think that should help the firefighters. Now, once the sun rises tomorrow, as the front continues to drop down and the temperatures rise, the winds will pick up again everywhere, and that includes around the fire. More specifically, where it's hot and the air rises, air tends to mix back down and bring those higher winds down. So in and around that fire, and I'm sure the firefighters are well aware of this, that once the sun rises tomorrow, winds will pick back up from the same direction. That is from the east and the northeast. But again, tomorrow, they'll get some gusts to about 25 miles per hour. Let's leave that alone for now. Out around the beaches, as we mentioned, if you wanted to reach the beach with warm weather, hopefully you did it today, because tomorrow you combine the wind with the temperatures and it's going to feel about 30 degrees cooler. Big rise in the barometer. That's why the winds picked up with the front today, and we're going to have strong winds through the day tomorrow. Overland again after a high today of 85 to near 90 in some locations, highs of 67. Notice the morning low, not really all that cold, seasonable for this time of the year. It's just going to be the afternoon highs that will be significantly below where they have been. Are there going to be any showers? The best chance of showers actually closer to the coast. St. Augustine to Ponte Vedra versus Orange Park, you could have a shower, but chances will be even lower. Then you go farther out to the west, like where the fire has been and is still smoldering, out toward Union, Bradford, and Baker. Can't rule out an isolated shower later in the day, but just a slight chance. On the other hand, you work north, but along the coastline, Fernandina and Amelia, decent chance of at least a brief shower to roll into the area. You go farther to the north, Pierce, Brantley, northern Ware County, breezy. Can't rule out a shower, but more than likely you'll stay dry. Up around Glenn and Camden counties, you might see a few showers come in from the coast. Beyond tomorrow, we'll see moderating conditions on Friday, maybe some isolated showers, warming up and breezy on Saturday and Sunday. might be an isolated thunderstorm, especially northwest of Jax on Sunday.
After 1 year, coming in as a early enrollee to now, I feel 100% more confident at the line of scrimmage.
Obviously, just coming as a freshman, I felt personally, I felt like it was like overwhelming. I mean, what it was and what I got. But I mean, now, my teammates have helped me, coaches have helped me, and it's brought me a long way since then. So it's really fun to get out there and just play football now.
Your Jacksonville Sharks season is off and running. They got off to a good start winning their opener, but there's a guy on this year's team who is extra excited about playing some arena football. Defensive back Marvin Ross has not played football in Jacksonville in a little while.